Hello.
Hello.
It's really late. We know this. We got back from dinner kind of late, so we didn't want to not do this. So we do appreciate that anyone that comes on right now, and we're not going to make this too long. Hi, Debbie. Great to see you guys on here. And again, if you feel compelled, please like or love the video. Hi, Heidi, Lisa. And thank you so much. Share this if you also want to, for those that are on the replay. We love these Sunday night chats because we like getting real with people, outside of what we do professionally. This is about real life here. Hi, Jennifer. What's up, Rob? So we wrote down 5 things, and I have some other notes. So we were at dinner, and this is what we did. We brainstormed because we always want to provide not only the best content for you guys, but bring something to you guys at the end of every week so we can push everyone into their greatness together. So there was a really wonderful podcast that Nancy was listening to. Hi, Maria, Tiffany. Yes, Debbie's asking if I told you about remember the video, the chip and Yeah, I sent it to her. So thank you for that. Thank you for thinking of me, Debbie. Tracy, so it was why don't you tell the backstory of the podcast and EntreLeadership and what you learned from it and what we're doing today?
Yeah, so a lot of times, like Scott and I mean, obviously we do a lot of reading and listening and things like that. And if anything kind of hits us in a certain way, it definitely, we like to share it and kind of spread it out there. And one podcast that I listened to was EntreLeadership. And again, if you guys haven't checked it out, EntreLeadership is amazing. Every single episode, you kind of level up, especially if you're a managerial HR role, that kind of thing, in an entrepreneur. It's just got really good stuff. And the one podcast I listened to, which is what we're kind of gearing our content today around, is it's all about like happiness. And the guy talked about how we're so much better together. And we're going to kind of touch on a few things. And he also talked about just negativity, like how you need to protect your happiness and you need to, kind of defend it sometimes because, we'll talk about, and we've got a couple quotes written down that we'll get into, but backstory is I basically listened to this podcast. It was fantastic. And I'm like, this is what we should talk about on Sunday.
So I just want to say hi to, Dana, Shelly, Rebecca, Betsy, Deb, hi. Just want to say hi to everyone. All right, so the first thing that we want to talk about, and we wrote these things down, negativity and stress are like second-hand smoke. Negativity and stress are like second-hand smoke. Go.
So I think just for everyone who is on right now, just think about that, right? People who are consistently around negativity, consistent around stress, around people who are negative and stressed. Listen to, actually it was in an article, but the guy, basically he was a counselor for people who were depressed. And he said he was very happy, like everything was great. After 2 years of doing this, he became incredibly depressed. And he said, it was just not me. It was crazy. I had to actually pull myself out of the counseling for a while because it was getting me so down. That's how people are. We are who we're around.
Misery loves company.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's why we really wanted to jump on. And again, I don't want to get all over the place, but that's why I think it's so important that we need to be role models and we need to kind of set the new standard of, you know what? I'm not a negative person. I'm not going to stress about this. Be that person that other people who are like you flock to you, because there are, no matter where you look at it, there's so many people in this world who are just negative and upset and lost and just frustrated, and they don't know how to get out of it. But instead of feeding into it, why don't you be the person who puts their foot down and says, you know what, I'm happy. all the things that come at me, they're going to be lessons. I'm going to get through it. Guys, everybody goes through shit. That's what life's all about, you know? It's like, you know, you hit a roadblock, or, you know, Scott had a tough week last week, you know. And
I'm going to get into that.
We're going to get real. All right. So, you know, I'm going through some stuff, and it's like, guys, we all go through stuff. Like, we're human beings. Life's hard. People always have, you know, different issues, you know, whether it's money, relationships, you know, whatever. It's like, I mean, stuff that makes you feel like you're crippled.
Yeah.
But it's all figure outable, you know, like you can figure it all out. Which is, again, another podcast I listened to that Michael Strahan was talking about. It's like life is about figuring it out. And it's all how you deal with it. And surrounding yourself with negativity and stress is just going to grow more negativity and stress. So
I first want to say hi to my girl at Chef Dark Coco D from Baltimore just popped on. So just want to say hi to her. Allison, yes, be so grateful. And Betsy says, choose your tribe wisely, which is completely true. And, you know, the one thing when we wrote this down and we were looking at this, like the fact that negativity and stress are like secondhand smoke. The one thing that people need to realize, and this is what I realize about life, allergic to negativity, absolutely. So every day, if you guys want to go and find negativity every day, you can go do that. And I love that. Alan wrote, some things aren't ours to figure out.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Perfect. But let me just get back to this. If you guys want to go find negativity, you can
Sorry.
If you guys want to go find negativity, you can go find it. It's out there for everyone. If you guys want to go out there and find positivity, you can go out there, you can find it. If you want to go and find some stress and bring it into your life, you can find stress and bring it into your life. But if you want to find ease and simplicity and joy and happiness and love, that is also something you can bring into your life. And the fact is, think about this. If someone is a smoker and you're not, what's the first thing that you do? You walk away. You don't want that secondhand smoke. So why do we still, to this day, stand around the smokers of negativity and stress balls and inhale all of that, and we don't walk away? What are we so afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of, because you know what? There's a non-smoking section in the very next door that's full of positivity, love, joy, happiness, and everything that you actually want to be around. So go to the non-smoking section. That's why it's there. That's why they're banning smoking. You know, no one wants that secondhand smoke. So number one, stop taking in the secondhand smoke. It's just your choice. So number two is what we're finding, and this is so true. People are better together. Cool.
All right. So just to touch on this, just think about this, right? So you're all alone and you're kind of getting through life. What happens, and just picture this, you walk in front of a mountain, and the mountain's huge. I'm going to get a little like philosophical, but like you see this huge giant mountain, and then all of a sudden, right, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this mountain is so tall and it's so high and it's going to be so hard to get through. And a person magically appears next to you. What happens in your brain?
You get motivated.
Well, it doesn't seem so big anymore, right? Things don't seem so hard anymore. And it's scientifically proven that our brains do something when we're together with someone else, and when we're put into difficult situations. It's almost like we have a whole extra tool set in our tool bag, how to handle problems and things like that, because we're in it together. I think about this, and a lot of times, obviously on Sundays, we kind of refer everything back to relationships.
It's like being lost in the woods. Is it more scary to be lost in the woods by yourself, or would you feel a little bit more at ease if you were lost in the woods with the one that you loved? Because then you can actually figure it out together.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, we talk about relationships, but this could even be people and maybe family or people and friends. But as humans,
Business partners.
yeah, and as humans, it's proven. I mean, scientifically, we are better together, emotionally, drive-wise, feeding off each other, being positive influences on each other. They say that if you're in a slump and you're in a low point in your life, look around at the people that you're hanging out with. And honestly, like find some people who inspire you, who get you fired up, who get you going in life. Like honestly, it's so sinking impactful how much you can blast forward because we are better together.
I heard a great quote from someone today. I saw it online, and it said, "Be the rainbow in everyone else's life, where you bring the light, the joy, the happiness, the color, the possibility, to where not only those people are happy when they see that rainbow, but they always want to search and find it again, and they want to see you again." So when you possess that rainbow, people want to be around that rainbow. They want to be around that light, that person that makes them feel good. Again, this comes back to the secondhand smoke. Yes, even family. Oh, thank you, Luna. But there's a great book that Simon Sinek wrote called Together is Better. And it's just proven that people work better, are more motivated, are more driven when they're around other people that are also motivated and driven. If you are hanging around, and this is a perfect segue, if you're hanging around people that have a broke mindset, that are not going anywhere, that don't want to live the best life, that could just complain about shit all the time, just they complain about their life and just this sucks and that sucks and this stinks and that sucks and I'm this and I can't be around that. But when you start to surround yourself with people that lift you up, that raise you to a whole other level, you realize that being together is better. And that goes in relationships, that goes in business. Just think about it. We were sitting at dinner tonight, and we're sitting there and we're ordering, and we bring a notepad or cards, and we're always writing stuff down. And I said to Nancy, it is so important for couples in relationships to have an anchor, to have something, whether it's the husband and wife, if they want to go and play tennis once a week, or, they have an activity to share. Don't just be in the relationship to be in the relationship because we have kids and this and life and that, we have bills to pay. Do something together. Your thing could be trying a new restaurant every week, or going to a sporting event together, getting really into that, playing cards. Have a passion or something to share with that person, because again, come back to that analogy. Just imagine you were lost in the woods, or better yet, you didn't have a GPS, you didn't have a map, and you were in a car by yourself and you were just lost. You took a wrong turn. You have no clue where you're going. Would you rather be on that road of the unknown by yourself, or would you rather be on that road of the unknown with the one that you love, where you can put your minds together, you can lift each other up, you can brainstorm, you can come up with ideas? Betsy says, I am grateful for the flexibility as a network that network marketers have to free time during the week to walk and talk with my husband instead of being in an office. That's wonderful. And that's something that everyone can achieve and do. So number 2, people together are better. Number 3, which the perfect segue, circle of influence. This is everything, honestly, in my opinion, but go.
All right. So, first thing I thought about was there was a scientific study that was actually done that, people don't realize how much their circle of influence impacts them. And one of the studies that they did is they found that there were a few examples. For example, they used family. So they found that if a sister or someone was, gaining weight and became overweight in 2 years, that happened to you, or you fell into that. You have a best friend or someone in your inner circle and they get a divorce, your chances of having a divorce within 5 years goes up by like 70% or something. So, and the obese one, I think it was like a 80% chance or something. And the thing is it's not like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen to everyone, but it just goes to show you how many studies are done that your circle of influence and what you see, and we're kind of creatures where we want to kind of like follow, we want to kind of go and see what everybody else is doing. Like it impacts us so much and we don't even realize sometimes. It's incredibly important that we disengage with people who don't make us feel good. I've had past friendships, I've had past interactions with people who literally, I didn't realize how much they stressed me out. They made me feel bad. I mean, it seriously put me in a funk. And I didn't realize it until I got rid of that person, like, in my immediate, like, circle of friends. Like, it was just like, I cannot be around this person anymore. And my life became so much better. When people come up to you, and I'll use I told a story a while ago about, that negative person getting water at the water cooler and they're talking shit on everybody and they're like, ooh, you see Sally, her hair, blah, blah. You don't have to agree with them. It's actually a better person, and be that role model, be that person who puts their foot down and says, I think her hair looks nice. No, everything's fine. Honestly, they say like, do this, cross your arms, close them off and just say, no, I think they're fine. They usually do two things. One, they shut up or they stop, being negative. And two, they usually kind of change the conversation. So you don't have to connect with that person by joining in the negativity. And that's a lot of times what we do. Knock it off. Be a good person. I always say I say to everybody, like, go through the filters, right? Is what you're saying truthful? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And if it's not, and it's not following those principles and what that person's saying isn't in that, you don't have to agree with it.
Yeah, the one thing that we were talking about circle of influence is that, I used to complain about my life all the time. I used to complain about I wasn't happy in certain aspects of my life, whether it was relationship or monetary growth. And I talk to a lot of people all the time, and this was part of my challenging week this week, is that I spoke to so many people that were telling me that they couldn't afford something. They couldn't afford this. They couldn't do that. They have to wait for this. All I know is this. And this is something I learned from Gary Vee. Your net worth is in direct relationship to your net work. So if your network are people that are just getting by, they have credit card debt, they have student loans, they can't afford to do this, you're constantly saving up for something and it never ends up happening because there's something that comes on that plate. Because most of the people that are living that way, you're having those similar conversations with other people like that. So when you level up your network and you start, whether it's hiring a coach or a mentor or getting involved, in a group or a mastermind or a mentorship group or any sort of networking group where you're learning from people that have leveled themselves up, your network is going to increase, which means you're going to learn ways to increase your net worth. If you're constantly doing the same, and this is so true because I know it's true because I went through it. if you don't change your circle of influence, if you don't change your mindset with money, your language with money, your conversations with money in your life, nothing is going to change. Waiting till, let me wait till after this event and then let's come back around to it. Just give me a couple months, because here's the thing. You still have 2 kids. You still have a husband. You still have the same job that's not paying you what you feel you should be getting paid. Your husband is still not getting paid for what he should be getting paid. Nothing's going to change unless you change something. It is the greatest investment that any one person can make. Level up. I love it. The greatest investment that any one person can make is themselves. So the misconception is this. When people hire coaches, when people go online and buy programs, you're actually not purchasing a program. You're actually not hiring a coach. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in learning something new, tangible, that you can take away and take yourself to a whole other level. So your circle of influence doesn't have to be those people that are an arm's length away. It could be someone that you're doing a virtual course with online. It could be a mastermind in a Facebook group. It could be in a network marketing company that you're with. It could be someone that you are watching on Facebook Live.
Yeah, and I was going to say, for me, honestly, if any of you, with the financial thing, Dave Ramsey, he's got a whole podcast and whatever, and it's just, I totally get it. The whole relationship with money thing, it can be so hard, and I feel so many people, have a bad relationship about money, and honestly, there's so many resources out there that can help with it, and no matter what situation you're in. I was telling Scott, it's kind of like the, putting shoes in a dryer, and I don't even know, this is what I think of, but you get feeling great and everything's awesome and you're kind of ooh, okay, everything's great, and then you go back and you put your shoes in the dryer and it's or you crawl back in your hole and it's back into the stress of life. And it's you gotta do something to skyrocket you out. I tell you, this is something that I can personally be transparent and relate to. When life keeps slapping you in the face and it's maybe another bill, or if it's a financial thing, or it's taxes, or it's whatever, and you keep getting slapped around, it is literally life saying, level up, get away from this. You need to skyrocket out of this, or else you're going to continually always be stressed out about money, or you're always going to be stressed out here. And I can tell you, again, I don't mean to say oh, don't hang out with this person or that person, but if you know it's not changing and the people around you are just right there in it with you, nothing is going to skyrocket you out of it. You've got to reach out to other sources, and it's okay to be human about it and be transparent. And like Scott said, reach out to people. It doesn't have to be a specific person. It could be, like I said, Dave Ramsey podcast. Listen to it. Listen to the stories about people who are 200,000 plus in debt, and within 3 years they kick ass and they do the scream. They say debt-free scream. They go, woo, and it's
I was $385,000 in debt.
Well, there you go. Right? Guys.
I was almost $400,000 in debt. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Bank went bankrupt. My credit was nothing. And I'm living the life of my dreams right now in every aspect. But something came up when you were saying this, and I'm saying this because a lot of the people on here, including us, were going to this event called Celebration. Here's the thing. The number one thing that will actually set you apart, why coaches, why mentors, why investing in someone else is so important, because you can go to every event you want in the world. You can listen to every podcast that you want. You can read every book. There's one thing that will set you apart, and that's accountability. And until you can learn how to be self-accountable, you need to invest. That's why I've spent I made a $2,000 a month investment in a coach to help my business. I'm going to repeat that. I just made a $25,000 a year investment in a coach to help take myself to the next level. And Nancy will tell you, I was going back and forth with her for literally 3 weeks on this decision. 3 weeks, because this was not an easy decision to make, but I knew I had to make it because I knew that I needed someone to hold me accountable and teach me and show me and take myself and my brand and my business to another level. And Nancy can say the same thing. She just invested in herself to get her real estate license, where instead of doing it over a 6-week period, which a lot of people do, she did it in 2 weeks, 9 to 5 for 2 straight weeks, passed her test, and she's working on moving forward from there. Paid the extra money to get it to happen quicker, to have the accountability to move forward. So for all the people that are going to Nashville, and there's some people on here that are, there's some people are not, and there are some people that have invested in coaches and mentors, and that's great. But if you're one of those people that has thought about it, but you're waiting to go to this event, you're going to learn things, absolutely. But at the end of the day, you are still coming back to the same house, the same environment, the same husband or wife and friends that were there before when you left to go to the airport. But the difference is when you bring a mentor or a coach or someone, an accountability partner into the picture, it takes you to another level because it forces you, just like we talked about before. This is exactly what goes into coaching and mentorship. When you're working with someone, working together with someone is better than working alone, right?
Yep.
So this brings us to the fourth thing. You must deepen your relationships. Personally, professionally, spiritually, you must deepen your relationships. Go.
Okay, so this one, I think, the people who are in your life and that might be kind of negative, right? So let's go back to this because, I always hate it whenever it sounds like we're like, oh, I don't hang out with these people you hang out with and da-da-da-da. And I mean, in some cases, that's the best thing to do because if people are just negative and they can't break their ways, okay. Let's say you're with a family member or a friend who's not so positive or whatever. It's important that we be good people and we don't be judgmental ourselves. And when Scott says deepen relationships, what are things that we can do to form better connections with them or maybe help them kind of see things from a different perspective? And one thing that you can do, and it's kind of an exercise that you can do, is practice gratitude. And you can relate this to anything. So for those of you out there who have corporate meetings or, your leaders or something like that, you can have a meeting and every single week you have this meeting, start it with 3 things you're grateful for. Scott does it with his son every night. Hey, what are 3 things you're grateful for?
But what was the one thing that you shared with me when you do this with kids? Because they start to look around. So, and this is something that, so when I have Taylor, we read a book and then we say 3 things that we're grateful for. We say a prayer and then we give hugs and kisses and then we go to bed. But it was interesting because I noticed sometimes his gratitude changes. I mean, he always says me, which I'm very grateful for. And when Nancy's here, he says you too. And then, and then he starts looking around his room. And this is what you shared with me.
Yeah, so they actually said that children or parents that practice the gratefulness exercise with their children are kinder, more giving people, and they grow up to have, better values, obviously, because when you start to look for those things that you're grateful for, and if this is a regular conversation, it could be at dinner time with your family every night, it could be, with your kids, it could be, like I said, at work in a boardroom. But by having this conversation, no matter how silly people think it is, you start to look at things differently because you have to come up with, it's coming, right? What are 3 things you're grateful for? Oh, well, the one example that I heard on one of the things that I was listening to was there was a team of people that worked at the nightclub where there was a shooting out in Florida.
Orlando.
And every night, and this is before the shooting even happens, before that happened, the company always practiced gratefulness, right? 3 things you're grateful for, whatever. And every week the employees hemmed and hawed and they were like, oh, this is so dumb. No. And the manager just kept putting their foot down, no, 3 things you're grateful for, let's go. And not even realizing it, but just practicing that made them so much closer. And it really deepened their relationships with each other, that whenever tragedy actually struck and there was the shooting at the nightclub, they came together and they said, I'm so grateful. And they just spent an entire meeting just talking about how grateful they were for things in their life. And it just totally changed the perspective. And they realized like how much they had really got to know each other better because of this gratefulness exercise. And it's horrible that sometimes bad things have to happen in your life for you to realize what there is to be grateful for. But just by practicing this with people in your life, who, you might not be able to get away from, or they're still going to be in your circle. But just by practicing this, you're not only helping them kind of see things a little bit differently, but you're realizing how much in life there is to be grateful for instead of just negativity.
Yeah. Deepening relationships is, we celebrated my aunt's 70th birthday today. She's not on Facebook, so she's not going to know that I mentioned her age. But it was really nice because my cousin Howard and my cousin David, her sons, both gave speeches. And my grandmother, who people have seen me post about my grandmother all the time, God bless her, she's 91. And she wrote a little something down, and she actually wrote a chronological message that she read out to everyone from the day that Susie was born until where she is right now, chronicling all the milestones in her life. And I asked my grandmother when we Taylor, myself, and Nancy picked her up and dropped her off today, and I said to her, I said, how does it feel? You're 91. What does it feel like to have a daughter that is turning 70? And she said it's kind of surreal, and I never thought I would actually see it. And so the gratitude that my grandmother must be feeling is probably just like on a whole other level, because not only were her 3 daughters there, but her 6 grandkids and her 10 great grandchildren were all there. And life is just all about deepening relationships, spending time with those that you love so much. So there's one more thing that we want to go through, but I want to give you a couple quotes that I want you to take away. And there is going to be a challenge at the end of this Facebook Live. So if you're on here live, you want to stay till the end. There is a challenge, and it's a challenge that if you guys participate with Nancy and I and do this, we are going to change lives together, because it's going to be contagious, because it is going to work. But we have to do this as a team. Together is better. So before we finish, think about this quote. Quote, you make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy. Cars don't make you happy. Houses don't make you happy. You make you happy. Number 2, just imagine, and Nancy was talking about this with me, and this is her quote. So she was talking about, remember like in high school and even recently, when the city shuts down, it's a snow day, and everyone is like beyond ecstatic and excited that it's a snow day. Like, remember that feeling? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, every day can be a snow day. That's yours. So quote, Nancy Evans, quote, "Every day can be a snow day." And it's the truth. Just when you wake up, take the feeling with you for that day that it's a snow day. How differently would you live that day?
Well,
You want to say something? Your mouth is starting to move.
No, I just like every day is not promised.
It's not.
You know,
and you know what? I support that quote. Live every day like it's your last. Because you said to me at dinner, what if tomorrow is your last day? What would you do differently today? People think honestly, everyone pretends like they're immortal. We're not. We're not.
And
we're all mortal.
Seriously, we're all mortal. And the thing is you're going to look back and so many, I've read so many things on what's your biggest regret in life, and it's people on their deathbed and people like that. It's not what they did, it's what they didn't do.
The chances they didn't take.
They didn't get to live life on their own terms to their fullest potential. They were always living in the eyes of someone else or how they felt like it should be. They were always working up this mountain. I mean, my grandmother, before she passed away, it just had an incredible impact on me because she sat there, and the day before she passed away, she actually said, my whole life, I spent working towards retirement, and I worked for all of this, and I'm not going to get to enjoy any of it. And she just said, live your life and enjoy life. And I was younger, I was in my teens, and it's that totally changed my life. And, whenever I lost my dad early, that rocked my world again. And that's whenever I just decided, you know what, I don't want to do what I'm doing. I want to live my life. So when you keep building up and you're waiting, or you're getting ready to get ready, or you're, oh, well, one day I'm going to save up enough money. You will hear stories of millionaires who become millionaires and they're freaking bored. They're bored. And then they end up going and doing something to make an impact and to help others because it makes them feel better and it actually gives them more purpose.
Robert Herjavec.
Yes.
Share the story.
Yeah. So the story is the
Robert Herjavec. He's
from,
on
the Shark Tank. He actually said he started making all this money and everything was great and whatever. And he was just he was bored. He was depressed. He was okay, I can do whatever I want and blah, blah, blah. And he's I realized it wasn't all about money. And then he ended up stumbling across some people who needed help. And it was, this whole thing in this city, a lot of the homeless people didn't have socks. And they said, well, we need socks. And he's oh, okay. So they ended up solving a problem for that city with people and socks. And it sounds silly, but it's not all about money. It's not all about, Scott and I talk about it all the time. It's sometimes I just stop and I'm I could have tons of issues, or there could be problems, or, all these small things. I have lately just been stopping what I'm doing. And I'm just I am so freaking grateful. I have my health. I have amazing people in my life. I have an incredible family. I feel so incredibly blessed. It's I am seriously, it's priceless that I can feel this way. And that's now.
And that's a choice.
Yeah.
We can choose to feel grateful every single day. That's what you got. Not everyone. A lot of people miss this. You guys are missing it. There is no secret sauce. There is no shortcut. There's no recipe. It's in with all of us. Each one of us possesses the feeling of being grateful. And it's just saying, I am so grateful for my health. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for the warm bed that I get to go to sleep in. I'm grateful that I have air conditioning. I'm grateful for Wi-Fi and that it's working. I'm grateful for all of you. When you start to feel when you say those things and you really feel and believe them, your life changes. It does. This isn't bullshit. We're not feeding you some sort of some pixie dust. This is real. They tell you that gratitude is the best attitude because it is. Would you rather feel like shit every single day? My life sucks. There's not enough money in my bank account. My car is terrible. It's not cold enough in here. My mattress is so uncomfortable. These shoes, I'm getting a blister. Or do you do the reverse? Oh, I'm so grateful that You know what? I actually have shoes on my feet to give me that blister. At least the air is working, sort of. I can always get a new mattress, but I have this one at least. I'm not sleeping on a floor. It's all a choice in how you see life.
It's true.
Yeah? So, every day could be a snow day. So before we finish, think about this quote. Life is not the lottery. It's not. You're not playing the lottery. You want to live for right now. Everyone is trying to strike it rich or hit it big or do that one thing that's going to do it. No. As cheesy as some of you on here live or on the recording, you open your eyes tomorrow, you've already won. And it's so true because you can create and decide how you want to live that day, because it's something that I heard by Sadhguru. There are 1 million people a day globally that do not open their eyes. They've left. So guess what? Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Yes, you should live every day like it's your last. And you should be absolutely grateful for every single thing that you have. Whether that's a lot of money or a little money. Good skin, bad skin. Hair, no hair. I'm grateful that I have a really nice shaped head where I can do this. No one's perfect. You know, we hear the term getting ready to get ready. I don't necessarily believe that. I just think you guys haven't deepened the relationship within yourself enough. Where you block all that shit out, you cut out all the noise, and you know what? I'm going to get really vulgar. It might be that person in your life where you just got to say, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. It's the truth. And you know what? That person might be yourself. You might have to look in the mirror and tell yourself to shut the fuck up. Because it's something that we talked about the other day. Mel Robbins talks about all the time that if we had external microphones that were playing the thoughts in our head down the street, people would be like, I want nothing to do with that person. It's the truth. Just cut the bullshit. Most of where we are not living the way that we want to is because of the negative self-talk, because of the things that we're saying to ourselves. So we have one last thing to talk about, and then we have a challenge. And this is the most important thing that we're going to talk about tonight, because this is the one thing that everyone has to do every single day above all else. Money will not buy you happiness. A house will not buy you happiness. A car, a watch. This buys you happiness. Spending time with the right people. Loving the right people. Enjoying every single day, whether it's raining, snowing, windy, hailing, being grateful that you get to experience all of that. And I use my son as an example. If there's a puddle, he doesn't walk around it. He jumps right in it because he wants to experience that. So the last thing right here, this is the key. If you do this, you will have everything in your life. So the last thing that you need to do, you have to defend your happiness with everything that you have. This is your number one goal. When you defend your happiness, no one can take anything from you. Go.
Boy.
Yeah, it's a big one. So put it right here.
Yes, I can look at it. Yeah, I mean, defending your happiness is everything we've been talking about, right? So, you know, positive self-talk So just like Scott said, like sometimes we're our own worst critic. Mel Robbins, her exercises, every time you do that negative self-talk, you get negative, you get in a space, you get bad about money. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then pick an anchor thought. You know, your anchor thought could be the beach. You know, your anchor thought could be a happy, healthy family or something. It could be an object. You know, you could pick a car or something, but like do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that thought. And it can kind of help break that chain. It's when you have mean thoughts, negative thoughts, whatever. Defend yourself, you know, against yourself sometimes. But really reflect, and this is what makes me think about, you know, whenever we say defend your happiness, think about the things in your life that make you feel icky. Sometimes we like don't stop and actually listen to the noise that's happening and making us frustrated. Is it something at work? Maybe it's feedback your boss gave you. Maybe it's something someone said about you. Maybe it's a bill. Maybe it's your relationship. What is it that you're feeling icky and that's sucking some of your happiness? Because these things pile up, right? If we don't give them attention and address them, they'll pile up and they'll start to stack. Give it the attention it needs and address it, right? Like at work, maybe you receive bad feedback and it makes you feel icky. Maybe go back and get more clarity. Okay, why is it that you said that? What can I do to be better? Okay? You get a bill in the mail. All right, what's my plan of attack? What can I do? Your relationship. Hey, maybe I can communicate. You know, maybe there's an issue that I know I can solve if I just address it. Defend your happiness. Like, what is it that's sucking the happiness out of you right now or making you feel icky? So,
Yeah, if you're a parent, would you want anyone ever? And my mom actually said, my mom has a saying, she'll say to me, if anyone ever does anything to hurt you, I'll fucking kill him. And she's heard her say this before. If anyone, and think about that. Like for the parents that are on here, even if it's your sibling, your parents, would you let anyone do anything to hurt someone that you loved so much? So why would you let yourself do that to yourself? Defending your happiness is taking care of you. You know, we live in this society right now, in this world of glitz and glamour. And I was sharing a video with Nancy. There's this guy that I don't know if he's called the Ferrari guy or he's called the Bentley guy.
mm-hmm.
Everyone's trying to sell someone something. And we you know, it's all visually pretty things. What's really going to make you happiness? Is defending your happiness making all the money in the world so you can buy a bunch of cars? Like, what you guys have to define, and this is big. You have to define what your happiness is. I think some people truly don't know what their happiness is. You know, happiness to me was when we were down the shore with my son 2 weeks ago and just living life, being at the beach, playing in the sand, going on the boardwalk, having family dinners, getting ice cream every single night, going to hibachi, having hamburger. Like, that's happiness. Seeing the look on my son's face when, you know, he found some sand crabs and this, that, or the other. Like, that's happiness. Everything else, you know, everyone has to get clear. I mean, we're always talking about getting clear with each other and what we're looking to do. But again, all of these go back to one thing. And this is what I want you guys not to miss. It's your thoughts. You can think happiness. You can think joy. You can think love. You can think gratitude and thankfulness and prosperity. You can think freedom. You can think all of these things. But instead, so many people wake up and think about what they're lacking, how ugly they are, how not in shape they are, how my bank account is too low, how I don't like the partner that I'm with, how I wish I was more loved, how I wish I was doing. change your thoughts. You have to love you first. We talk about self-love all the time. Defend your happiness and everything that has to do with that. So here's your challenge. This is not a gratitude challenge, and I'm not poo-pooing it, but everyone does gratitude challenges. This is something different. We want, together with all of you guys, to make a difference for the people that are in our lives. And I'm not going to have some sort of hashtag as a reminder, because we're not going to check in on people. Your challenge for the next 30 days, because everyone's on social media all the time, so everyone is seeing everything that we're doing. For the next 30 days, each one of us is responsible for making a post once a day for the next 30 days, tagging someone that we love or we know, and letting them know that we're grateful for them. So this isn't like saying, today I'm grateful for my shoes, an umbrella, and a refrigerator. You should be doing that anyway. This gratitude challenge is pouring love and gratitude into other people. So for the next 30 days, whether you're on the replay or on the live, starting tomorrow, you are to make one of your posts on Facebook a gratitude post tagging a person and letting that person know why you're grateful for them. Would you like to add something?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, just think about it. Like, I actually was driving, so I don't know if she's going to jump on or not, but I get these random thoughts whenever I'm driving in the car, and I actually bought a little recorder that I can grab really quick, so I won't have to use my phone or anything, but I can grab it and I can do some recordings. Well, the few things I thought about on the drive, to Scott, I was just feeling grateful, and I was thinking about all these things and whatever, and I just thought about my aunt, Wendy, and for some reason, I was just like, man, like, I'm so grateful for her, because I've never met someone who's been so positive, like, consistently throughout my whole life, and loves me so much, and always sent me a handwritten birthday card, like, every year. And is just like such a love. Like, she's such a great, wonderful person. And I just thought about her. And I actually, I was like, send a message, so it's like, I needed to remind myself, because people like her, and there are other people out there, but it's like, they need to hear that, right? Somebody told me the other day that they really appreciated the posts that I post on Instagram. And I had no idea they were even looking at my stuff. I mean, because they're not liking it and loving it or anything, but they say it's really impactful, and it's great to be able to see it. So you don't know that the people you think just get it, they're like, oh, this person's happy all the time. I mean, I get into deep, horrible funks sometimes where I'm just like, oh, I feel bad today or whatever. But it's like, you think all these people know that they're so appreciated and they're so wonderful, and they really don't. So that's part of this challenge is, let's spread this a little bit. Again, we're better together. We rub off on each other. Like, the whole theme of all of this is life. We have one go at this. Let's just, be good people, and let's spread this and help it grow.
Fucking awesome.
Let's make it fucking awesome.
Let's make it fucking awesome. Let's make this life awesome. Like, enough of this stupid shit. Like, let's live. Like, let's just be awesome. All of us. Together. Go be awesome tomorrow. Go be awesome. Go be fucking awesome tomorrow. Make one of your posts. Tag someone in it. For the next 30 days, every day, tag someone in your post, letting that person know that you're grateful for them and why. Make someone else feel better, because it makes you feel good. I can't express to you the feeling of what it's like to get a message or to get an inbox from someone and then just thanking you. I remember during the presidential race 2 years ago, I don't take political views because I have none. And I just remained positive throughout the entire thing. And I had multiple people send me messages and say, regardless of whatever your political view may be, we really appreciate you not voicing that and still continuing to be positive in a time where a lot of people are reigning in darkness. So you don't really know who you're impacting. So again, stop focusing on the money and what you do or don't have, the car you do or don't drive, the house you do or you do not live in. Focus on your family. Focus on your friends. Focus on your loved ones. Focus on those people. That's how you defend your happiness. And go be fucking awesome. Guys, thank you so much for staying on for, this is our longest live yet. We love you so much, and we just want to send you off tomorrow, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, but we know we're all going to get tomorrow, because it's in my prayer tonight for all of you guys. Tomorrow is a day where you can literally change the world by just making one small wrinkle in the ocean that's out there. Because you're laughing.
No, I'm
it's
listening.
True. That can cause a tidal wave.
It can. Yeah.
That can cause a tidal wave. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One small wrinkle.
Mm-hmm.
That little ripple effect,
yeah.
Right? So, anyway, we've spoken enough. We love you all so much. For those that have shared this, liked, comment, even on the replay, we really appreciate you. And if there's anything that you want us to talk about outside of what we're doing, we would love to hear back from you. So have a wonderful rest of your night. Much love, gratitude, thankfulness for all of you guys. We love you too, Debbie, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You're funny.